welcome to my home. It's an honour to be here and to share the practice with you. Today I bring you a shortish general Hatha class, somewhere around the 25 to 30 minute mark. And before we get started, I'd like you to have a few props on hand. I'd like you to have a cushion to help elevate the sitting bones. I'd also like you to have a block equivalent. My go-to block equivalent is a novel, a thickish novel. And make sure you have a blanket or a towel, something you might choose to use underneath the knees if you need that extra padding, but to also bring over the top of the body when we come into Shavasana at the end. So today's practice is all centered on the sixth limb of yoga. And the sixth limb of yoga is called Dharana, and it means to focus. It means to concentrate, something that is challenging at the best of times, and particularly now, I know in my own personal world, I'm finding it hard to ground and to center. My thoughts can carry me away at times, and this is where our yoga is so important and so significant in our lives. So I've designed this class to help you to focus. So to start the practice, let's come into a nice comfortable seated position. Now you might stay here in a Sukhasana. I'm actually going to come into Virasana. So I'm going to use my block equivalent, my book, and I'm going to bring the book this way, long ways, underneath my sitting bones. And I'm going to allow the knees to come together and to touch. Allow the heels just to sit beside my hips, toes extended back. So it doesn't matter which variation you take, it's what's comfortable for you. If you are in Virasana like me, just bring your hands down to where the skin is just above your knees and just draw that skin slightly back, just creating a little extra space. Just resting your hands on your thighs. I want you to take a moment just to blink the eyes. And then after blinking the eyes a few times, let the eyes gently close and shut. Grounding down into the sitting bones, you might need to rock a little further back or forward if you're favouring one side. Find some length through the spine and the vertebrae, so you're growing up through the crown. And intentionally drop the shoulders down away from the earlobes. Take a few moments here, yogis, to find your breath, to connect with your prana, that ever-present life force. Breath becomes longer, steady. You start to draw the awareness inwards rather than outwards. You're aware of the sounds around you. You're aware of the sensations on your skin. You're even aware of the beating of your heart. Take your next exhalation, yogis, start to slowly blink the eyes open, once again drinking in the light of the room. We're going to start with a eye focusing practice, coordinating with your breath, pranayama. So whether it's your right hand to your left hand. Can you please bring your index finger just nice and close towards the face, leaving the other hand just resting still on the top of your thigh. Make sure you're aware of your posture, still balancing on the sitting bones and growing tall. I want you to focus your drishti. So the drishti is your gaze on the point of that finger, please. I want you to take a big inhale here. And then when you exhale, start to lengthen and extend your arm away from you, keeping the focus on the tip of that finger. Inhale, draw the finger slowly and steady back towards your face. A little closer towards the tip of your nose now, still focusing. When you ride your exhale, slowly lengthening and extending to the point where you can straighten at the elbow and pause for a moment. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Keeping that focus, keeping that attention, that awareness, maybe a little closer towards your nose now, maybe going a little cross-eyed, that's okay. Exhale. Gentle pause. We're going to do that one more time this side. Inhale. Exhale. Let's release that hand, bring it down to the top of the thigh. And just allow the shoulders to drop. And we balance with the opposite side. So when you're ready, bringing that index finger nice and close towards your face. Let's take a big inhale, fill up the lungs. Focus the drishti. Exhale, extending with this arm. Nice straight line as you straighten that elbow. Pause. Inhale. Eyes fixated on the tip of your index finger, coming a little closer towards the nose. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And this time when you come to that straight arm, I'd like you to pause and stop for a minute. Keep the gaze on the tip of that index finger. And then I just want you to take the gaze beyond the tip of that finger, as if you're looking out at the horizon. And then taking in everything you see at that horizon. Refocusing the drishti on the tip of the finger. Take an inhale. Bring it close towards the nose, going a little cross-eyed. Exhale, extending nice and long. Once again, pausing and broadening your glance to look at the horizon. Inhale, looking at the tip of the finger, nice and close. Last time. Exhale, single focus attention. And broadening your perspective to drink it all in. Let's release the hand, take it to the thigh. Just take a moment to let the collarbones spread and smile. I'm going to bring both hands into our prayer at heart, at Hatha. I want you to lower down now and look at the tips of your fingers. Close the eyes. We're going to open with the chant of mantra Om, if you're comfortable. If not, just listen. Take a deep inhale, exhale, first big breath. Exhale through the mouth. Inhale for Om. Slowly blinking the eyes open, returning to each other. Namaste. Welcome. Beautiful yogis. I want you to interlace your fingers now. Interlace in the way that comes naturally to you without thinking about it too much. Then turn the palms away from you. Just checking that the wrists and the elbows and the shoulders are level. And then take another inhale. Let's elevate the arms as high as they will go. Just conscious that the shoulders aren't creeping up towards the earlobes. And bringing the wristy back to that horizon, where the sky meets the ocean. Focusing on that line. Big breath in. And exhale, release the hands out nice and wide. Let the fingertips come down and find the earth beside you. So when you bring your hands back together to interlace, instead of going that natural way, just have a look at which index finger is crossing over which one, and then switch it up. Make sure you're doing it the funky way. That's right, beautiful. Let's interlace and extend. Send the palms away. Find that alignment. Take a big inhale. Now let's slowly raise the arms up nice and high. Bring the awareness back to the horizon. Full breaths, full belly breaths. And on your exhalation, the out breath, let's release those fingers. A bit more tricky to release that way. Slowly let the hands come down and find the earth. Fantastic. So coming off your block, if you are sitting in Virasana like me, if you weren't using your book, please bring your book or block into play. We're going to bring this prop directly under your navel, or it might be a little bit more like your chest. You might need to readjust. Just come onto all fours and leave the block there for a moment. We're going to come up into Adho Mukha Shavasana, downward dog. So from here we're going to tuck our toes, lift our knees, raise our sitting bones. Beautiful. And I want you to imagine where your third eye is, that space in between your brow, and you want to send the third eye down to where that book or block is. Have a little bend in the knees. Just really focusing on the sending down of that third eye towards the prop, anchoring into the heels of the palms, little bends in the knees still so the sitting bones are rising. Just taking another full breath in and out. And the reason why we have our block in this position, it's just to really help us to find that focus. Centering of the mind's eye on a single point. One more big breath. Slowly allow the knees to come down towards the earth. Free the toes and just remove your book out of the way. Let's come back to all fours. So knees underneath the hips, hands underneath the shoulders. Let's move through some cat-cow. So on an inhale, I want you to lift your chin and your gaze, looking either forward or maybe up a little bit higher. And then on the exhale, I want you to really focus on where you're sending your gaze. So as we look up high, we're going to trace a line straight down until you connect with the earth, the mat. Drawing that straight line down the middle of your mat as you tuck your chin, tuck your tailbone and lift and raise the back of the heart up towards the ceiling. Take your inhale, tracing that single line through the center of your mat, to the top of your mat, maybe up higher, climbing the walls towards the ceiling. And stay with that linear motion, riding the breath on the exhale. Pressing hands and knees and tops of feet into the earth. Keep the eyes open, as tempting as it is to close them. I want you to focus today. Beautiful yogis. Next time you
come to a nice neutral spine. You might choose to stay on your knees, and that's perfectly fine. Otherwise, tuck the toes and return to your downward facing dog. It's okay if you need to sort of walk your feet out, jiggle the legs out for a few moments. And bring the dristi to the space in between your feet. Center. Inhale. And as you come forward, I want you to rock your weight into your hands, into the heels of the palms. You're tracing that straight line. You're looking just in front of the mat. Holding. Exhale. Tracing the line back as if you've got a piece of chalk and you're drawing it down the middle of your mat. Looking in between your feet now. Inhale, rocking forward, finding your plank. Taking your time. This practice isn't about rushing. Picking the knees up away from the earth, sending the heels back. Exhale. Just 2 more times like this. Inhale. You're more than welcome to be on your knees. Just repeating our cat-cows if this is a little too strong for you today. Exhale. Let's do it one more time for good measure. Inhale. Stay in your plank. Either lower here, chaturanga, or drop the knees as we come down onto our bellies. Inhale, untuck the toes. Just find a cobra stretch, pointing into toes, bending into elbows, lifting as high as it serves. Tracing the line down the wall, to the earth, to the mat. Beautiful, tucking toes, pressing into hands and knees. You might come back into your plank. Tracing that chalk line back to find your downward facing dog. Inhale, stepping or hopping forward to the top of your mat. Lifting into Urdhva Mukha Shavasana, halfway lift, either fingers on earth or shins. On the exhale, tracing the line as you fold into Uttanasana. On an inhale, strong legs, we rise, raising the arms, coming up nice and tall. Looking up to where those fingertips meet. And exhale, hands come down to heart and we drop our dristi, our gaze to where the fingers meet in our prayer. Releasing hands. Fantastic yogis. So from here, coming into your Tadasana, big toes either touching or spacious gap in between the feet, we're going to come into our Utkatasana. So bending the knees, sending the fingertips down. Find that seat where you send your sitting bones back behind you. Beautiful. So from here, yogis, this is where it starts to get a little more challenging and it's going to really draw on your focus and your attention. So I want you to balance your weight into your left foot now. On an inhale, can you start to pick your right foot up and away from the earth? Options, dropping that heel on top of the thigh or wrapping all the way over, maybe double crossing for Garuda. Beautiful. Maybe arms as well. So when you're ready, wrapping the right arm underneath. Maybe 2 palms can meet or backs of the palms meet. Sending the sitting bones back. You're concentrating on the wrists. That's where your dristi point is. Breathing. So if you can lift the elbows up a little bit higher, the fingertips as well. Sitting bones send back. Full breath. When you're ready, unwind the arms, send them high. Inhale, releasing that top leg, lifting the knee if you can, extend. Exhale, foot to earth. Take a breath in your Tadasana. Come back to your prana. Refuel, reconnect. Opposite side when you're ready. So we bend the knees, we send our sitting bones back, we find that Utkatasana seat. Alright, so now we're really balancing
our weight heavily into the left foot as we lift the right knee. Taking your option, maybe crossing the ankle over the top of the thigh for that 4-point squat, or dropping all the way over, maybe double crossing, resinking. Arms, this time left arm underneath. Palms might meet, or backs of the palms meet. Focus your gaze on your wrists. Breathing. You can come a little bit deeper into the asana, now's the time. Unwinding the arms, send them high. Unfurling the leg, either lifting the knee and staying here with the straight leg, or extending and returning. Allowing the hands to come down. You might want to close the eyelids for a moment. Rock a little into your feet, forward and back. Feeling gravity descend the weight in the direction of the earth. Beautiful yogis. So from here to the tops of the mat, Tadasana. On an inhale, sweep the arms. Take that drishti all the way up towards the tip of the fingers where they meet. Tracing the line on an exhale, we fold into our Uttanasana. Dropping our head, maybe fingertips or palms to the earth. Looking towards the tip of the nose. Inhale, Urdhva Mukha Shavasana, your halfway lift. And on an exhale, keeping the focus of the gaze as you step or jump back into your plank. Eyes just in front of the mat. On an exhale, drop the knees or lower here at the elbows and lower chaturanga. Inhale into cobra or upward facing dog, looking high. Exhale, chalk line. Draw it straight down the middle of the mat. Returning gaze to the middle of the feet. Coming into our warrior sequence now. With the eyes on the feet, turn the left foot out to 45 degrees. Sit the right foot forward in between the hands. Knee over ankle, strong legs. Raise the arms. Release the shoulders. Option to bring palms together and center the drishti high. Or, if your arms are wide, I'd like you to look forward towards the horizon. Fueling into the legs. Really taking the energy down into the earth. And as we ground down, we lift up. Big breaths into the day. Beautiful yogis. From here, we're going to bring our hands onto our waist. We're going to take a little bit more weight into that right foot. And as we start to take our weight forward, come up onto the ball of the back foot. We're going to come up into warrior 3. If this is a little too tricky, just keep the back foot anchored. When you're ready, transferring the weight into the front foot, lifting your left foot, toes, sending them down towards the earth. Hands can stay on the hips or maybe send them back. Some people like to fly, bring them wide or forward. Wherever you arrive, take a big breath. Toes down, or sometimes pointing can help you balance. Keep that point of gaze, keep your drishti, keep the breath. Hands onto the waist, stepping nice and long with that left leg and spin the leg down. Sorry you're looking towards the back of me at the moment, I'll just actually turn around. So from here, you're in your warrior 2. Your warrior 2. Knee over ankle, arms nice and wide to the T. Focusing your gaze on the middle finger of that right hand. Breathing into your heart. Breathing into your belly. One more big breath. Let's cartwheel the arms down, framing that right foot, stepping back and returning into your downward dog, tracing the gaze towards the middle of your feet. Warrior sequence, right side. So turning the right foot out to 45 degrees. Stepping the left foot forward in between your hands. Take your time. Hips are squared. Readjust the footing if necessary. Sending the arms high. Maybe palms meet and the gaze rises all. Eyes forward to your horizon and the arms wide. Find some length down the sides of the rib cage. And please be conscious of that back leg not falling asleep. Grow some deeper roots. And let's prepare now for our warrior three. Taking a little more weight now into the left foot. Hands to the waist. Sending our hearts and torso forward. You really want to shorten that stance first before you consider raising the back leg. Take a moment to level the hips. Keep the hands where you please, or send them back or wide. Toes down or send the toes back. Breathing. One more full breath. Hands to the hips. Sending the leg all the way back. Grounding the foot. Beautiful. Straight line ankle to arch. Finding warrior two, Virabhadasana B. Arms nice and straight to that T. Looking forward to the middle finger. If you'd like to arrive a little deeper, listen to your body. And on an exhale, let's take the hands down, framing the left foot, stepping it back. Adho Mukha Shavasana. If you need a moment, yogis, drop your knees and come down into your child's pose, your balasana. If you have a little more energy, you're going to come into dolphin pose. We won't be here for long. So for your dolphin, let's actually drop our knees first to set ourselves up. You want to bring the forearms down onto the mat. So for some people, the hands gravitate a little bit closer. One might even sit on top of the other. For others, the hands stay parallel. So it just depends on the nature of your shoulders. So just finding your grip, ground down into the forearms. That's what I want you to particularly focus on, that connection to the earth. And then from here, keep the toes tucked, take your time, start to lift the sitting bones. Drop the head to that space in between the upper arms. See if your head can hover just above the mat. You might have a little hinge into the knees, pressing into those forearms, into those elbows, keeping the gaze on the space in between the feet. Taking a big breath. And when you're ready, slowly descend the knees back to the earth. And tuck the toes. You might take the knees out wide for your balasana and send the arms forward. You might be looking for something a little bit more restorative where the knees are closer, the arms are sitting beside the feet and the shoulders can roll down. Receiving the breath. Where the mind's eye, that third eye, meets the earth, it's that gentle reminder to focus, be present, to look inwards, not outwards. Let's take our time, let's start to roll up. We're going to transfer down onto our backs now, please, and just have that block book nearby. So as we roll down, we want to have the knees bent. Have the feet as wide as the hips. Beautiful. And we're just going to come up into a bridge pose to start with. So on an inhale, we're going to lift the sitting bones, press into the heels and the balls of the feet as you send your knees forward. Don't focus on how high you can get the hips, just focus more so on the support. And your gaze is Looking down towards the tip of your nose, Nagsara Dristi. And then maybe beyond the tip of the nose, you're dropping into your own heart. And with the arms, you might keep them holding onto the edges of your mat, or walking the shoulders a little further underneath. You might even interlace the fingers as we did at the start of class. Breathing. Let's slowly release the arms if they're interlaced. Spread the shoulders and roll down the length of the vertebrae. Just take a moment to connect the lower back, the tailbone, keep the chin tucked. And then we're going to come into a version of a supported inversion. So using your book, we're going to bring the book underneath the lower sacrum. So just at the top of the tailbone there, on the flat bit of the lower back. And then from here, we're going to start to raise the legs up towards the sky. You might like just to hold on to the edge of the mat here, tucking your chin. Closing the eyes. Beautiful. Gradually allow those feet to find the earth below you. Gently lifting up the hips so you can bring the book out over to the side. Let's walk the feet to the outer edges of your mat, let the knees drop. Might even like to bring the arms into cactus, where the elbows are the same height as the shoulders. And from here, yogis, extending the legs nice and long. Let the feet fan out. Maybe take the arms a little wider now, straightening at the elbows, closing the eyes. If you'd like to place that blanket over the length of you, please place the blanket over the length of you. And all the awareness, all the focus, all the concentration now rests within. Eyelids are heavy. Breath is long. You have nowhere else to go, nowhere else to be. This time is all yours. Stay here as long as you need to, yogis. This practice is all for you.